I quite like sitting and waiting at quarterback this year in one quarterback leagues, which is pretty common. I mean, a lot of folks are doing that. They adopt the late round quarterback strategy. I try to take it a step further and be the absolute last person in my draft to draft a quarterback, especially in the shallow leagues where I know like running backs and wide receivers are going to get prioritized. I'm happy to be the last person in the league to draft both a quarterback and tight end. I will punt both. If it makes sense to get one of the high rollers, one of the heavy hitters, they fall a little bit farther than I would have expected, and I'm happy with their cost where they are now going, and I'm not crazy about the running backs and wide receivers that are available around that same range, then sure, I'll take one of the elite signal callers or one of the elite pass catching options at tight end. But I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. I'm going to let it come to me. And if it doesn't happen, if other people in my draft take those guys closer to cost or above cost, I'll just wait. I'll punt. Let the value come to you. And if it doesn't make it to you, then you just wait. Would I suggest double tapping quarterbacks at the end of a one quarterback draft? If you have punted some more on quarterback, and it's the 10th, 11th, 12th, 11th, 12th, 13th round, and you haven't taken a quarterback yet, yeah, take two. Take a name that you like and take a guy that you're like, I could see myself starting this dude week 1 or week 2, and I'll make a call after maybe a couple of weeks. Maybe one of these two names will reveal themselves to me as the guy where it's like, I need to make this one my constant. But for the first couple of weeks of the season, that might not be obvious. You could play the matchups a little bit and get a couple of cheap guys. I am totally fine with that. Like a Drake May and a Caleb Williams. Justin Fields and a Dak Prescott, Fields and Williams, May and Dak, any one of those combinations, May and McCarthy, Williams and McCarthy, Fields and McCarthy, like any combination of those guys. You could throw Trevor Lawrence in there. I know Lawrence has been a little disappointing relative to expectations, but now he's got like some really intriguing pieces to play with on offense. Lawrence and May, Lawrence and Williams, May and Dak, Dak and Fields, Fields and Lawrence, Fields and McCarthy, May and McCarthy. Any combination of those guys, I'm totally fine with. No, it's not a bad strategy to start wide receiver. It depends on your situation. It depends on your league scoring. It depends on where you are drafting in your league. And it depends on the players that are available to you. If the best two players that are available to you at your first two picks are wide receivers, then take wide receivers and we'll figure out running back later. Ideally, you get a running back, at least one with your next pick, and then maybe a couple more over your next 2 or 3 picks. But you know, if you're drafting in the middle of round 1 and Justin Jefferson is right there, then take him. And if on the turn, you know, like a Drake London or a Brian Thomas fall to you and you like them better than the available running backs, then take them. It's fine to start wide receiver if they're the best players on the board when it's your turn to pick and you feel good about them. If all of those things are true, then yeah, take your wide receivers. That's okay. There will be other running backs later that we can get. You're in a super flex league where league mates wait on quarterbacks. My suggestion for a league that waits on quarterbacks is to draft a stud running back or wide receiver in round 1. And if Josh Allen is still there in round 2, or if Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels are still there in round 2, take them. If you can make that happen, if you can secure a stud running back or wide receiver in round 1 and still get Josh Allen in round 2, that will allow you, in theory, to draft another collection of good running backs and wide receivers in rounds 3 and 4 and still end up with a good QB2 in round 5. I've been in leagues like this before, a super flex league where quarterbacks were waited on. Me personally, I will get 2 quarterbacks by round 5. Round 6 at the absolute latest. I don't care that my league mates are waiting on quarterback. I'm going to take advantage. I'll take my stud running back and wide receiver around still getting 2 stud quarterbacks, or at least 1 stud quarterback, and then another viable option a couple rounds later. I would do stud running back or wide receiver in round 1. If you know for sure that your league mates will also do something similar, I would then be the one to take the plunge and get Josh Allen in round 2. It's still super flex. Secure the stud quarterback that in other super flex leagues would easily go 101. I will take that guy in the second round. I will then get another good running back and or wide receiver in rounds 3 and 4. Maybe a difference-making tight end in Brock Bowers or Trey McBride if they fall in that range. And then if I can get, if your league mates wait, if Bo Nix or Kyler Murray, if Drake May or Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy or Trevor Lawrence, if any of those guys are in round 6 or 7, grab one. Even in a league, a super flex league that waits on quarterbacks, I want to be the guy that goes and gets the quarterbacks. My answer to this question is, who do you think is going to be available to you at your second pick? Do you think Drake London or Brian Thomas or A.J. Brown, hopefully he's healthy, hopefully he's, the hamstring injury is minor. If you like those wide receivers and you like them more than the running backs that'll be available to you, then I would take maybe Christian McCaffrey. If you think that if you like the running backs in the second round more than the wide receivers, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, if you like them more than the wide receivers in the second round, then take Nico Collins in the first round. And if you start, it depends on, do you start 2 wide receivers or do you start 3 wide receivers? If you start 3 wide receivers and you need to get that third wide receiver spot locked in every week, then maybe go Nico. If you only start 2 wide receivers, then maybe go McCaffrey. Factor in who you think is going to be available to you at your second pick. Look at the names that you think is going to be available to you at your second pick and maybe allow that to influence your decision a little bit. Always look down the board as far as you can, as much as you can, while keeping an eye on your current pick. The names that you expect to be available later to you help influence what you choose to do now. If there's a running back that you like a round and a half from now that you're pretty confident that you could get, then take the wide receiver now. If there's a wide receiver that you like down the board and you think you can get him at an ADP that you're willing to take him, and that maybe you'd be willing to take him higher than that, then take the running back now, grab the wide receiver later.